Summertime slowly fades away.
Hello, welcome back to our channel. Welcome to Knitworthy Podcast episode number 4. She's Bella and I'm Cello, and welcome to our podcast. If you've never been here before, welcome. We are twins that live in Southern California that love to do lots of different hobbies. So that's what this little outlet is for. We just record and ramble about all the hobbies that we've been doing, and it's been a long time since the last time we did one of these, so we have a lot to catch you up on. And yeah, we're excited. Get cozy. Get as cozy as you want. If you live in SoCal, you know that it's been cloudy for cold. Like multiple weeks, and we are not used to that. So get your hot cocoa, get your blankets, try to romanticize the clouds because they're getting a little bit, it seems like they're here to stay. Yeah, get cozy, get ready for this episode. We're going to start off with knitting / crocheting / just crafts in general, needlework. So this was one of my favorite projects that I crocheted on in the last couple of months, and it's this shirt, which originally I was making a jacket, hey crochet jacket pattern, but I just didn't like the way it was turning out, and I didn't think I would wear it, so I modified it and just made 2 square panels of granny squares and then put them together to make this cover up shirt poncho type of thing that I just really like. I'm not much of a crocheter, so this was a lot of fun to get into doing granny squares, and I actually started this last summer, but then I left it at my grandma's house and never got it back till this summer, so I only had like 1 granny square left to finish up, and then I just went wild and with all of the little details, like these treble stitch scallops on the edging, and the little neckline that I did, and yeah, just designing it in general because I didn't really know where I was going with it. And then when I got it back, I just kind of made it up as I went, and it was a lot of fun. It was a very creative process for me, which I want to get more into with my needlework and like modifying patterns and designing patterns for my own preferences, because I'm a very like pattern-based person, so I want to get better at kind of improvising and having fun with designing the patterns. Yeah, so this is very refreshing and fun crochet for me. And very wearable for this time of year. Yeah, I wear it with a short sleeve shirt underneath or a long sleeve shirt, and as a cover up, it's great beach wear if we can go to the beach if the sun ever comes out. Anyway, the pattern that I just recently finished is the Yankee cardigan. Everything that we talk about will be linked down below, and also there'll be timestamps, and we're going to be talking about books and things like that. Everything will be timestamped, so you know you can just skip around with timestamps. As for yarn, here 2023 is the year of stash busting, so we're making stuff with a lot of scraps, and yeah, it might be kind of hard to remember some of the yarns that we used, but we'll try to mention it if we know the brand. Usually it's just from Michael's or Joann's or something like that. We're stash busting on a budget here. So this is the cardigan, the Etta cardigan Yankee, and I put on these cute little daisy buttons. This is for my niece. I called it the Delaney Daisy cardigan because that's her name, Delaney, and I love these little buttons. They're so cute. And I knit it in, everyone says they look like eggs. From afar, they do look like eggs, but they're daisies too. Daisies, eggs, whatever. Either way, they're cute. And this yarn is honeycomb. It's Karen Simply Soft. Very nice yarn. Again, stash busting. I made a sweater for myself in this yarn, and now Delaney has a matching sweater, and I'm probably going to finish it off with a little something for Delaney's sister so they can be matchers. And I just loved this pattern. It was very well written. I loved knitting the top down raglan with these little eyelet detailing, and the garter was so just therapeutic and nice to work on in such like a pretty yarn. And you were supposed to knit back and forth for the sleeves once you finished the yoke and the raglan, but I did not want to seam. If you know me, you know I hate seaming. So we hate seaming. We are not. We're not seaming girlies. We're definitely not sewers. So I just did it where I finished the yoke, and then I just knit in the round, knitting, purling, knitting, purling, knitting, purling, those are the links I'll go to not have to see. And then all I had to do was sew up the little tiny armpit hole. But yeah, overall, such a fun, therapeutic, cute cardigan. I love it. And then for our baby nephew, Cannon, who was just born a couple months ago, I made a little Raglan sweater, which I don't have with me right now, but I'll put in videos. The pattern is called The Good Ol' Raglan by Twisted Knitwear, and it was so easy. I added little stripes and made it out of scrap yarn. I got a Pound of Love Lions brand baby blue yarn a long time ago for a sweater for my other nephew, and I still have some left even after making Cannon sweater, and it's really pretty, so I'll definitely get good use out of it. But I really like the way this pattern came out, especially with the stripes. I also just love knitting stripes because they're so satisfying. It's like you don't even have to do anything, but they just look pretty. And I kind of want to make a bigger version for myself because I really like the way the stripes look, and stripy sweaters are cute. I didn't make any modifications. It's very straightforward, very easy, fun. I love just knitting straight and watching TV or talking. We were hanging out as a family a lot when I was knitting on this, so I would just sit and listen to everyone chat, and that's always nice when good memories are associated with your project. And making baby knits is also pretty satisfying because it's just like little and fast and easy, but it comes out so it's just like so cute and perfect. And our baby nephew has such beautiful blue eyes with the sweater. It's so cute. For that same nephew, I made a little green beanie. This is a pattern recommendation that I highly recommend it for anyone who's looking for a beanie pattern for their new baby. It's the Pearl Soho ribbed beanie, and because of its ribbed structure, it will stretch with their head for a very long time. Bella has made this pattern at least for our nephew before, and it's like growing with his head because it just stretches and stretches. And I made it in this really cute green stash yarn that's I think 100% acrylic and light DK worsted. I really like this because it was full circle moment. It was in my stash because I used it to make a little mini amigurumi dinosaur probably like 7 years ago, or my brother, whose child this is. So now he has his little green amigurumi dinosaur, and my nephew has a matching little beanie, and I love that. It's just another thing that I love about crafts is they just really grow with you. Yeah, that's all I have to talk about for needlework right this month. I mean, this is still considered needlework even though it's not knitting, but this is a cross stitching kit that I got off Amazon, and it comes with this little booklet of bookmark cross stitch patterns. They give you that many. And I'm making the poppy one right now. I just picked this up in between patterns. So California poppy vibes, Memorial Day, and it's very satisfying to watch all the colors come out and just see the poppies come alive. So that's what I've been working on. Cross stitching is a little bit straining on the eyes, okay? This better be worth it because I swear I'm doing eye damage. I have a couple books to talk about that I read a lot of books because it's been so long since last time we saw each other, but these are just a couple books that I really enjoy and want to talk about. Heidi, which I talked about this in one of our other videos, and my expectations for it were very high, and it fulfilled and exceeded all of my expectations. This is going on my top favorite books ever list because it was just so good, wholesome, beautiful. The writing really hit home for me, and the story is so calming and slow but also captivating and enchanting. That's just really refreshing to see from a classic, because classic books can sometimes be on the dull side, and they can also sometimes be on like the tragic, sad, serious side. But with children's classics, especially Heidi, they are refreshingly fiction and magical, and it's also really godly. A lot of the parts were a lot like a prayer, and I love when books have that. So yeah, this book really resonated with me, and the innocent outlook in it, point of view, was beautiful too. It just gets you every time. Same thing with Secret Garden. It's just a great book. Highly recommend this, especially for spring, but all year round is in this book. This book talks about all the seasons and really explains it beautifully and romanticizes it. So yeah, it's just inspirational for any time of year. Highly recommend. And along those lines of romanticizing spring, I read on my Kindle. I don't have a copy of it, but I highly recommend Hoopla. It's like a digital library. If you have a county library card or something like that, you can use Hoopla and get free books. So I use that for like 50% of my books, and I read The Blue Castle by Ellen Montgomery. 5 out of 5 stars. Great book. It's more romantic comedy, and it's obviously great scenery description in it because it's Ellen Montgomery. She's great at that, and specifically in this book, and that's why everyone reads it during spring, and I was getting a lot of recommendations to read it, so I hopped on the bandwagon, and I do not regret it. It was great. The more I read Ellen Montgomery, the more I like her. At some point, I'm going to have to go back and read the Anne of Green Gables series again because the first time I read it, I just didn't do it right. The thing about Ellen Montgomery's writing is that it's kind of something that needs to be savored. Yeah, you can't really rush it, and I was rushing that series for sure. I savored this book. It's basically about a young woman at the age during that time where she would be called like spinster, like her whole family is thinking that she's a spinster, taking pity on her, and she kind of just has a little moment. I won't tell you why that moment is because I don't want to spoil anything, but she has a moment where she just kind of takes control of her own life. She decides to find her independence and what it means to really live life, and she goes out, she lives life. She's just been doing what her family said. She's been walked all over her whole life and is kind of just like a background character, and no, she's the main character in this book. She really she really takes control, and like the romance is so sweet, and there's lots of twists too. It's a very you're like, I did guess one of the things, but then there were multiple things. I was like, whoa, okay, there's just a lot. The more you get into Ellen Montgomery's writing, the more you see that she has a wide dynamic cast of characters that she writes about, so every different book has different characters that relate to you in different ways, and yeah, that's what I like about her a lot, is her heroines are very beautiful and diverse. Just whenever I need to dive into a book and want it to be calming and refreshing, Ellen Montgomery is who I go to because she very much provides an escape, and she really creates a whole world. Like in The Blue Castle, it's a comedy. It's a rom-com because she really gets you in there, and you're like laughing tongue-in-cheek vibe the entire time. And all of the characters have their own little quirks and things that you get to know, and they're just like random little details that just make the world so much more immersive and funny and fun to read. And that was one of my main spring reads. And then really quickly going to talk about, I read Rebecca of Sunnybrook Farm. This is a middle grade book. It's pretty much Anne of Green Gables, make it American, make it published 10 years before. That's what it is. And it's obviously less descriptive because it's not Ellen Montgomery, but it has the same vibe, and the whole coming of age of Rebecca is in this book, and it was a nice read. But you know, when you compare it to Anne, I heard someone else say this about this book too, when you compare it to Anne, it's just not quite the same, doesn't really get there because it's not the same descriptive, beautiful writing, but it definitely was inspiration for Ellen Montgomery because it has a lot of the same themes, even same scenes where I'm like, okay, Ellen Montgomery, a little bit copy this. But yeah, so I'd give this like a 3 stars maybe, and then obviously The Blue Castle is 5 stars. Moving on to the little devotional. We both read devotional books throughout the past couple seasons. So this is Fire Within by Father Thomas Dubé, and this is a book I recommend everyone read because the message in it is so important for everyone's life, no matter who you are. At some point you should read this, or at least something like it, because it's commentary on the Saints Teresa of Avila and St. John of the Cross, who are mystics, and their lives and their writing and teaching about the transforming union and the indwelling of the Holy Trinity, and how our purpose in life is ultimately to submit to that fire of love and to just submit to God and forfeit our lives to God. And it's for everyone, not just mystics, not just people who are chosen with visions and things like that. It's for every person, no matter who you are, to deepen your relationship with God to a point where you are experiencing divine joy and love in every moment and every aspect of your life. And it goes into everything from prayer to the spiritual union of the soul with God. It's just really, really inspiring, and I loved reading it, especially during Pentecost season when we're thinking a lot about the Holy Spirit, him setting us on fire with his love. So yeah, just highly recommend. And for my devotional books, I read The Imitation of Christ by Thomas Kempis. I don't know. But this is the second most bought book after the Bible, and I can understand why. It's pretty much a paraphrase of Christ's doctrines, and it was a good spiritual instruction and direction during the Paschal season for me. It's for growing as much as you can in holiness, so basically like an instruction manual for holiness. It's very just to the point, very good, and refreshingly truthful, especially these days. So I highly recommend this book. And the second one that I was reading along with that for my devotional during the Easter season was The Joyful Beggar. And this wasn't exactly what I was hoping for, I guess you would say, because I was hoping for something a little bit more like whimsical, inspiring. This is more historical. Like, there's a lot of historical aspects. It's like about the life of St. Francis of Assisi, and it's biographical about him. So his whole arc of transforming from this gallivanting boy to the joyful beggar. He was the beggar for Christ, and it was, even though it wasn't the book that I was imagining, it did inspire me in the right ways of being able to sacrifice self and become content and even joyful in God's will. That's what I've really been trying to focus on. You don't need to care because God's caring for you. That's very much St. Francis's motto, and he inspired so many people by just doing that, by just living simply for God. Yeah, all of that is covered in here, a lot of historical details, and then it keeps you intrigued with some little like fictional side plots and things like that. So it's a nice biography of St. Francis and inspiring for joy in suffering, joy in everything, because it is God's will. I finished the Vanderbeekers, what is published of the Vanderbeekers series. I know there's one more to be published. The Vanderbeekers series is becoming one of my favorite little comfort reads. It's very movie bookish, a nice refreshing break from these more dense books, but it's just a movie book series about a tight-knit big family, like 5 kids, and there's twins in it, and they live in New York, and it's very well written, very good banter and monologue between the siblings. From experience, I know how it is to have a big family, so it's very well written in that way, and it's very easy to read, and every book has a new pickle. They always are getting themselves in and out of pickles and supporting each other and growing their family and just spreading more happiness and carefreeness around New York. New York is very much like the ambiance in this, and it tells about all of the parts of it, and the family is just really comforting, endearing, and fun to read about families and siblings, because a lot of books are about friends or romantic relationships. So reading about like family, sibling vibes, it's just wholesome. It's nice. I'll probably have to get into those at some point because I've heard a lot of good things about them. All we have to talk about right now in hobbies, I've also been doing just a little bit of painting every day, some other random needlework like felting and embroidery, but I just like to be working with my hands all the time and creating. So I've noticed that even though a lot of the times I'll just be sitting there like, I don't want to pull out my knitting right now or my cross stitching and do it, when I start doing it, I realize how much it's releasing like pent up tension, and I just need to like be working on something. And maybe that's just because I've created a habit because I've been doing it for so long, but it's just therapeutic. Yeah, it's so relaxing for me now at this point, and creating things is so fulfilling too for me to, at the end of the day, have these little creations and accomplishments that you can look back on. At the end of Lent, I was getting into a little bit of a, honest, and I'm still getting out of it, just like a little bit of a block, sort of, where I wasn't feeling like being creative anymore, but I'm starting to realize the more I create things, the more I want to create things, and it does inspire me every day to like look back on my layout or the little thing that I made, or even this YouTube channel, and just it's something that really fills my cup, and I kind of am getting more back in the groove. That's why we haven't made a podcast in so long. I was just kind of in a little bit of a hobby rut. So, and also, I need to show you this to you guys. I need to show you these while we're still alive. These are my little tomato plants. Okay, I'm just being realistic here. But these are my little tomato plants. Okay, so they sprouted. This one's growing its second set of leaves, which means I'm supposed to start watering it now. I don't know what this one's doing. It's looked the same. for like 2 weeks, so hopefully it doesn't die. Changing. These leaves are getting a little bigger. Also, I think I see a little bit of something coming up right there. So yeah, pretty soon I'm gonna have some little baby cherry tomatoes to put on toast and whatnot, and salads. I literally love cherry tomatoes. And this is a windowsill one, so it sits so aesthetically just on my windowsill. It's so cute. I'm so excited. It's so satisfying to see those get a little bit bigger every day. Just the things that bring us joy. So if that brings you joy too, subscribe, like, comment. We have a lot of things that we want you to comment. First, stash busting ideas, because it's really hard for us to find projects that we can work on with all of our miscellaneous yarn. So if you have any ideas for like scrappy yarn projects, and comment that down below. YouTube shorts, that was something that I wanted to talk to you about. What would you think about us starting a little YouTube short like series on YouTube shorts or something like that? Like, what would you want if we were to start making YouTube shorts? What content would you want to see? I just want it to be like a casual way to keep daily or like multiple times a week more casual communication and interaction with you guys. I kind of wanted to start doing YouTube shorts, so if you have any ideas or recommendations for YouTube shorts, or any just topics that we can maybe talk about in the YouTube shorts, yeah, comment them down below. If you don't want to see YouTube shorts at all, feel free to let us know. But yeah, also just leave whatever you want in the comments. We want to grow this community more and talk to you guys more. Also, we enjoy a lot of things, so about our channel, we don't really have like a niche. We just enjoy a lot of things. We bouncing all over the place in these videos. But if you like that chaotic hobby vibe, subscribe. And I want to talk about movies, because we don't really talk about movies a lot, and we love movies. Yesterday we watched Air, the new Air movie on Amazon Prime, which is rated R, but just for bad words. Yeah, there's bad words and a little bit of bad language, but it was really good. We watched it as a family, and it's honestly, again, like Ford vs. Ferrari, editing inspiration. It's kind of just like, you can turn any topic into an awesome movie if you have the right editing, the right soundtrack in the background. The producing made this movie really good, like the costume design and the 80s vibes, the music, along with the casting and the acting. Obviously, it's Matt Damon, so really good acting and classic. It wasn't based off a book. It wasn't a sequel. It wasn't a spin-off. And these days, that's all they've been making. And we just recently saw Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. So good, to say the least. It gave me some hope for Marvel. It gave me some hope. You know, we've been giving up hope, but it just lived up to the Guardians of the Galaxy name. Like, they kept their integrity. Yeah, they kept the integrity. The jokes. They really respected the characters. You really got to know all the characters and wrapped up the story perfectly. It was good. So it was a good movie. If you guys were Marvel fans, because I know everyone who was a Marvel fan is kind of on the fence right now because they're but if you're on the fence about seeing Guardians of the Galaxy, you should definitely go see it, because it's a breath of fresh air for the MCU right now. It hit home, and it was funny, and it was entertaining. So and it's a good movie to see in theaters, and there's so many good movies coming out. I'm so excited to see Across the Spider-Verse, and there's also Barbie coming out. There's Little Mermaid, Oppenheimer, which is absolutely earth-shattering. Yeah, gonna break the world, because it has the most star-studded cast ever, and it's Christopher Nolan, so obviously it's gonna be great. If you guys have seen any good movies lately, or shows or whatever that you think we would enjoy, leave them in the comments down below. Even though we're booked up with shows right now, and/or Rebels. Ahsoka is coming out in August. Like, we want to watch H2O again. Yeah, H2O to make a romance. They're looking really good right about now. So yeah, if you enjoyed this episode, give it a like, subscribe, and come back for more. Come watch our videos, interact, tell us what you want to see. We'd love to have you be part of this community. We hope you enjoy it. Film another episode near the end of June, so we can catch you up on all of our June projects. But in the meantime, enjoy our vlogs. Yeah, hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Bye!
Summertime.